inside of a pub. The scent of weed, the sound of music, man, nothing inside baby.
Oh hi, it's that time. Drop in with Frank, so come on in.
They headed up to see who this was. Now every once in a while they drop in.
Incoming, it's drop in with Frank time. We're going to go back in time to Sunnyvale, California. I worked at a pet store there called Jungle Island. I worked there for 2 hours before I went to school, cleaning the cages and feeding the animals their breakfast. I would go there 5 days a week and feed the animals. And this is before all the rules changed and you could have all these exotic animals. So we had lion cubs, we had ocelots, we had pythons, we had monkeys, and we also had a full-grown Indian leopard who lived in a 12 by 12 cage that was 12 feet high. I was supposed to use a cat prod going into the leopard's cage, but no one told me that when I first started working there, so I walked in without one. Yeah, I was antsy the first couple times I went in there, but then the second time he rubbed up against my leg and started purring, and I realized that this is really just a big cat. They gave him a used rubber tire so he could work out his sexual aggressions on the tire. If you can imagine putting a human in a cave and giving him a little rubber ball, and it's like, how do you feel? I really need to have sex. Bang, bang, bang. Oh, I feel better already. It just doesn't work that way. But anyway, I should mention I used to get high with the leopard. So every morning I would get the cat high after he ate with catnip, and I'd smoke a bowl with him, and then I'd say goodbye and go off to school. The cat doesn't need to be on catnip. That's ridiculous, But I did it at 6 in the morning when no one was there. We had bales of catnip, so I could grab a handful every day, and it didn't make any difference. But it was amazing how cat-like he turned into him. And he would sniff the catnip, and then he'd roll over on his back and bat at shit that wasn't there, and then kind of like run and slide a little bit. It was just like, wow, he's playing. I was friends with the leopard. Yeah, I would enter the store, and he would start, from way in the back without seeing me. He knew it was me, and I'd make sure I'd make a beeline and say hi and stuff, and I enjoyed the times that I would get high with him because he would purr like a cat does, but it almost sounded like a dog's low growl. The first couple of times I was like, oh, he's growling at me, and then, oh no, that's his purr. He's a cat that's this big, I think he was smart, and he was real sensitive, and he was a leopard that knew humans because he had been around them so much, but he didn't really trust humans. Like after a while, it just became like Frank's leopard. It's like, even though it's my day to clean his cage, Frank, why don't you do it? Because you get along with him, And so I just became like the leopard guy in a way. So I like to think that it was kind of like he looked forward to like, okay, Frank's here, he does his job, he comes in, feeds me, cleans the cage, and then we get high, and then I play, and I just became like this fun guy for him or something, I had a girlfriend, and I spent the night with her one time a weekend. Her parents had gone to San Francisco, and we all dropped acid on Sunday. And so Sunday night, I was still really on. And in the morning, I had to ride my bike down into the town of Sunnyvale in order to start my work day. So I've dropped acid now, and I'm going down, and I'm riding my bike through all the traffic down through Sunnyvale to the pet store. I let myself in, and I'm at the point where like the walls are still breathing, so you walk in, it's like, all around. The Japanese fighting fish look like huge monsters inside their little bubbles and stuff. And the leopard greets me, and I'm on acid, remember? So I let myself into the leopard's cage. So this time I'm in his cage and I'm starting to clean up, and he's looking at me really weird. And I'm thinking, okay, is it really weird because I'm on acid and it just looks that way? Or is he thinking, wow, this dude is weird, he must be on something, what is it, you know? So I keep on cleaning up, keeping an eye on him, and I go to walk out of the cage, and he runs to where the door is and blocks the door. So I'm like, wow, he's never done this before. You know, I'm looking at him, and all of a sudden he leaps up at me, and his paws hit me like right here, and it's like a cartoon. I just went down, my feet went out from under me like that, slam onto the cement. It knocked the breath out of me. Even if I'd wanted to scream, there was no breath to scream with. I saw his face. He opened his mouth. He started bringing his mouth, open mouth, and claws and teeth down to my face. I suddenly became very, very calm. I was surprised at that, and this idea floated in my mind that get it over, make it easy for him, give him the jugular vein, let him do it, you'll be dead quick, you'll feel less pain. So I did that, and I closed my eyes, and I felt his hot breath right here, and it was like, oh, here it comes. And he licks me. And then he licks me again. And I open up my eyes, and we lock eyes, and I scratch him behind the ear, and he lifts up his head and just looks at me like, how come you fell down? So I'm there with his paws still on my chest, and I lift one off and lift the other one off, and crawl out from behind him, wrap my arms around his neck and scratch him under the chin. It's like, dude, what were you doing? You just scared me, man, you know? And then I got up and walked out of the cage, and everything was fine. And a little while later, I got him high and got myself high and went to school. And it was like, wow, I actually had like an acid LSD experience with a leopard. How cool is that? This episode is to be continued because it was so weird we couldn't fit it all into one.